7 months ago.
Seems like a lifetime.
It seems like a lifetime indeed, but he was surrounded by what he called his top team advisors.
No left now.
Well, today, only 4 out of 5 of those men, they've gone. There's just one left.
Well, first to go in February was National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, the scandal over his ties with Russia.
Next, the high-profile press secretary Sean Spicer resigned when Trump hired Anthony Scaramucci as communications director. Scaramucci himself was then fired after only 10 days in the job.
Chief of Staff, right, I can't, and there's no way, I've practiced this all morning, it's okay. Chief of Staff, Reince Priebus. How about that? How about that? He was fired.
Now because he's been fired.
He's gone. He was fired just 6 days after Sean Spicer left.
And Trump's controversial chief strategist Steve Bannon was sacked last week. The only person left is Vice President Mike Pence.
And he'll be gone in a minute. Now, since his departure last week, interestingly, Steve Bannon has vowed to go to war against the president's opponents and has taken up his old job as chief exec of the right-wing news website, Breitbart. I'm absolutely... Breitbart, sorry. I'm fascinated about this. Andre Walker is here with us today. You used to work with Steve Bannon at Breitbart. This guy... has said, I am going to war with President Trump's opponents, the ones who stopped me in the White House from doing what we promised. Ultimately, though, he's going to bring the president down, isn't he?
I don't think he is, necessarily. I think one of the big issues that he made clear, he said, look, the Trump presidency that I supported and we voted for is now dead and gone, and there's now a new phase that's going to take place. And what I take from that is that he now feels that there's going to be a battle over every single policy between people who have much more of a globalist economic view, some people who are hawkish militarily, and his group of people, the kind of Breitbart gang, who are very kind of against foreign interventions and also want to ensure that countries like China don't have open access to markets when they don't respect intellectual property.
A bit odd though, isn't it? Because if you've been sacked by someone, at the very least you'd have a bit of a grump on. The first thing you do wouldn't be to go out and say, I'm still supporting and I'm going to carry on fighting for you. It almost feels like President Trump has said, do you know what, I've got to sack you, but I'll see you right to the long term.
Well, there is some good news for Steve Bannon because he left on Friday, but on Wednesday he was meeting, the Wednesday before the sacking, he was meeting Robert Mercer, who is the biggest shareholder in Breitbart. So presumably there was some discussion, and Bannon himself is saying that he resigned on the 7th of August, and so he plans to come back. Now, what he has said is, I've got my weapon back at Breitbart, and I think he feels it was quite hard to campaign for what he wants to campaign for within the White House, but outside it becomes easier.
When you read about somebody, Steve Bannon has called all sorts of things over the weekend, you work with this guy, what's he essentially like? This man is saying, no, it's Breitbart, I'm going to take on the world. What was he like as an individual?
Well, when I met him, it was like Family Guy Eton Gordon Gekko. So he's quite an intimidating figure, but the thing I always really liked about him was the fact that he would tell you what he thinks to your face. Now, prior to working for Breitbart as a journalist, I was a House of Commons staffer. It's all very sedate over there, people are very polite to your face, and then stab you in the back. Steve Bannon is not that guy. Steve Bannon will tell you what an issue is, and any time I had a problem with him, he'd tell me the problem, and then I'd respond back to it, which I appreciated.
He is very extreme right-wing, though, isn't he? Yeah. Some people have said he's nothing more than a racist. What was your impression?
Yeah, look, I mean, this whole thing about white supremacy, I think, is nonsense. What he really believes is American exceptionalism. He believes that the world is safer, more democratic, more economically open, and there's more free speech when America is the predominant power in the world.
But what happened in Charlottesville, many would argue, precipitated him leaving the White House because, in fact, he is perceived as the darling of the right in America, and maybe Trump thought, hold on a minute, I've been slaughtered by my responses, my 3 different responses. Maybe now the right thing to do is to feed Steve Bannon to the wolves, but then you think, will that come back and bite him?
I think the impossible thing about Charlottesville is this. You know, I think both sides have got a point. Both sides are the people who want to remove the statues and those who want to keep them, simply because there are latent racial tensions in America and these statues are unhelpful. But then again, destroying public statues is not necessarily the right thing to do. If we in Britain removed the statue of everyone who'd done something unsavoury, we'd have none left. Because it's very historic for us, a lot of these things, whereas in America, it's right, you know, these issues are here right now. I hope there'll be a solution. Personally, I support what they've done in Moscow, which is they've removed a lot of the Soviet Union statues and put them in one park together. So they've not been destroyed. They are as pieces of works of art. They still exist, but they're not in those prominent positions, so they're not making the statements. But look, I mean, most people in America are not in favour necessarily of removing these statues. So I don't think necessarily it creates a political problem for either Trump or Bannon.
Can he survive, Donald Trump?
I think he'll be re-elected. I think that
I think he'll be re-elected.
Yes, absolutely. I think you've got things like the revision of the tax code.
Doesn't it get to the point where if you sack so many people, it happened to Thatcher, they all get together and go goodbye?
Well,
essentially, he sacked 80% of his closest
It's fair, to
advisors.
it's fair to say that President Trump has a very different style
Yeah.
to previous presidents. But nonetheless, it's not necessarily playing badly with his core support, the people that are going to raise the money and go out and campaign. And this whole Breitbart thing, believe me, Breitbart will be incredibly supportive of Trump himself. And what they will do is, on an issue-by-issue basis, they'll say the reason why Trump can't push through this is X advisor or Y advisor. And in doing that, they don't necessarily damage the president himself.
Fascinating. Any last? We'll wait and see.
We will wait and see. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much indeed.